proceed on to our first point in the agenda, which is roll call. If I say your names, please say present, and I will be marked as present. Just give me a second. All right. ICC chair present. AS president, Joshua Luzondo.
Present.
Thank you. Committee member Katherine Nilsen. I believe I see her here. Katherine Nilsen.
Present. Sorry, it wouldn't let me unmute myself.
Heard you. No worries. Thank you. Anastasiia Z.
Present.
Thank you. Hold on. Melissa Gonzalez is absent. And Antoine Aoude.
Present.
Thank you. And Councillor Benny Blates.
Present.
Councillor Dennis Funes, I believe not present. And Associate Dean of Student Life, Dr. Earl.
Present.
Thank you. And I would like to note that our next item is the minutes from our previous meeting. However, currently we did not have the minutes up. So I would like to ask for a motion to postpone this to another meeting. Are there any motions for that? Is there a motion to postpone the minutes?
Motion.
Motion by Antoine and yes, Joshua.
Second.
Seconded by our AS president. Thank you for that. And we can now move. Are there any objections? Hearing none, we can move on to our public comments. So just as a note, this section of our agenda is open for any public comments that any members of the public that wish to address us. And if you want to give a public comment, please raise your hand and you will have a 2-minute time limit. I see a hand up. So Marjani, just give me a second so I can start my timer. All right, and your time starts now.
Hi everyone, Marjani Torres. I'm campaigning on behalf of Olivia Taha. I'm also the president of Eco Action Club. I want to request that Antoine Aoude, I may be pronouncing his name wrong, be removed or that he excuse himself from this meeting because he has expressed bias both through text and by harassing candidates. He also attempted to circumvent the AS Constitution and the election code by doing his own investigation. Olivia had provided all of her personal information onto the AS as is provided by the application process. So why is a member of the election code seeking out her information and then publicly accusing her and then saying that he has already made his decision and that she had lost. So there is a complaint against him that I have submitted, and I would like for that one to be one of the first ones addressed if he doesn't excuse himself.
Thank you for your public comment.
I'm not done, sorry. Do I still have time?
You have 1 minute left.
Okay. So it would be a great shame to actually see this process go on just for the matter of like, we want to be accountable. I was removed from this meeting from that same position because I was campaigning for Olivia. And so this person, Antoine, has been campaigning on behalf of Kamiko. And if he's allowed to continue to this, I don't know, this will be kangaroo court. Like this isn't just, it's not legit, and it shouldn't be allowed to continue.
Thank you for your public comment. We can now move on to Olivia. And Olivia, give me a second just so I can get my timer on and start it now. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. I just wanted to state the same exact thing that Marjani was stating about Antoine Aoude. I'm not sure if any of you have received my email, but I have endless text messages with this person harassing me, clearly stating a bias and clearly stating in favor of Kamiko, clearly stating that they are voting for Kamiko Greenwood. And so I also don't feel comfortable with this person being here. I believe that the elections committee is biased. And yeah, that's about it. I'm sorry, if Antoine remains on the election committee, legal action will be pursued. Thank you.
Thank you for your public comment, and we can now move on to Kamiko Greenwood. Kamiko, give me a second, and your 2 minutes starts now. Okay, and we will now move on to discussion items. Since there are none, we can move on to our action items addressing campaign violations. So, give me a second to. Okay, so far through this elections process, we have received 5 official complaints, which have been received to either me or Dr. RL. And in order to ensure that we are abiding by our AS election code, we have also just consulted in general with legal counsel on some of these complaints. So the first complaint that was given here, just an outline of the complaints that were received and the action that I have taken as the AS election committee chairperson. So there was a complaint against Mark as a candidate from Olivia Taha. And the Zoom meeting report does not show any additional information on this individual. And we do not have any record of any campaign workers for the candidate of Kamiko Greenwood. So therefore, we cannot control what an individual states during the public comment period during the AS board meeting, which actually just is a public meeting. So if an individual used a figure of speech, the individual used a figure of speech and that was not a direct threat against anyone. So this complaint has been dismissed. So moving on to the complaint against an elections committee member, Antoine. So we have looked into this matter and Antoine has admitted to sending an additional text message to the candidate after she asked him to stop contacting her. And after the candidate asked him to stop, he ceased all communication with her. So this will be given a warning. So in order for us to maintain the impartiality of the AS election committee after this meeting is over, we would ask him to step down from this position. And the complaint has also been provided. The complainant, as following the elections code, has also been provided important information, the relevant information if she wishes to contact student judicial affairs. But that is up to what the candidate wishes to do. After this meeting, this member of the elections committee will be asked to step down. So there was also a complaint against Kamiko Greenwood, which was filed by the candidate Olivia Taha. And so this was regarding behavior during an AS board meeting. So after consulting legal counsel, we have been informed that any conduct that occurs during an AS board meeting, which is a public meeting where individuals are discussing their current leadership positions, which currently both candidates are, it's not subject to the AS election code. So this complaint has been officially dismissed. So moving on to another complaint, which was against the candidate Kamiko Greenwood by the student trustee Ali Shirvani. Repeating my statement again, any conduct during an AS board meeting, which is a public meeting where individuals are discussing their current leadership positions, which I would repeat, both Olivia and Kamiko are leadership positions, is not subject to the AS election code. So this complaint has also been dismissed. And moving on, there is another complaint that was filed by our student trustee, Ali Shirvani, against Olivia Taha. And the situation is regarding the candidate forum that was led on by the Corsair. So a statement of opinion between the candidates, especially during the AS candidates forum, does not constitute slander. And the AS election committee does not have the authority to disqualify a candidate. So this complaint has been dismissed, and I would like to defer to my advisor for any more, my advisor, Dr. RL, for any more comments regarding everything.
Yeah, I wanted just some special notes, as the ICC chairperson mentioned, is that the AS Elections Committee does not have authority to disqualify a candidate. A candidate can only be disqualified as part of a discipline process. So any conduct additionally during an AS board meeting, like was mentioned, where individuals are discussing their current leadership positions is not subject to the elections code. And as it was mentioned, statement of opinion between candidates, specifically during the candidates forum, does not constitute slander. So that's all I have at this time. Thank you.
Yes, and I would also like to add that I'm aware that I just received an email regarding a complaint, but this cannot be because it was sent after 12. After 12, it will not be addressed now, and we can move on. Just give me.
Sorry, there were additional complaints put in by other students as well, and I just wanted to clarify really quickly. When I asked Antoine,
Point of order.
There was a lie being stated. When I asked
Olivia, you're not a member of the elections
Okay, well, I will.
and the meeting is not open for the public, so unfortunately, we would have to mute you. Dr. Earl.
Chairperson, please continue with the agenda.
Thank you. All right. So I would also like to clarify that the situation regarding the Antoine situation was that after he was giving an initial warning and he continued contacting the person, but after the second warning, he ceased communication with her. I would just like to clear that up, just so it's not misunderstood. And I would also like to continue with our agenda and excuse me. So our next point in the agenda is reports. So committee members and advisor reports. So I would like to start with my own report, and I would like to inform candidates that so far this process has been a bit more complex than was expected, but still, if there are any more complaints regarding this, it will be open if I am wrong, before tomorrow at 8 a.m. Am I correct?
I'll double check the time and provide that during my report.
Thank you for that. So if there are any more concerns, you can always address them to me at the icc.chair@smc.edu email. And thank you. That's the end of my report. And I would like to move on to our AS President, Joshua Elizondo. Hi, Josh. Do you have a report?
No.
Thank you for that. And are there any reports by any committee members, any current committee members of the elections committee? No report. All right. It appears that there are none. So we can move on to our advisor reports. We will start with Dr. Earl.
Yeah. Any reports that are received, we'll be sure to look into them and that weren't addressed at today's elections committee meeting. We'll review them and then we'll be sure to provide an update by the next elections committee meeting, which is tomorrow at 9. So the deadline to submit complaints is tomorrow at 9 a.m. Elections closes tonight at 11:59 p.m. and the results will be announced during tomorrow's elections committee meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. R.L. And we can move on to our next advisor, which is Benny Blades. Benny?
Yeah. I want to make sure, where is it? Okay. Hoping everybody have a good spring break. As you know, Isaac is leaving. He got T-6. His last day would be the 15th of April. He's done a great job. I'm really gonna miss him. Also, graduation deadline is coming up. So for those students who are transferring, please do not forget your graduation deadline. If you've been admitted to institutions, always remember they are conditional. So make sure that you focus on your academics this semester. And I was speaking to someone at the financial aid office. We got a lot of major problems with Santa Monica having to send back money to the federal government. The biggest problem is that we don't have to figure out, once students get ed plans, you're going in and making changes on their ed plans. And some of the changes that they're making do not qualify for them to receive financial aid. And that's been a big problem. What Santa Monica has done over the years, as opposed to what other schools are doing, they will front money for financial aid, hoping they get reimbursement. But when students, before the reimbursement is done, change their ed plan, that could commit, and that would mean Santa Monica lose a lot of money. So we had a meeting yesterday with the counselors to try to, and admissions and financial aid. We tried to come up with a system where we can prevent this from happening. So we can continue to get students their money up front the money by the institution and get reimbursed. They didn't give a figure on how much money we lost. But this is also, you notice that they're still asking colleges to report their number of students who finally received financial aid this year, so they can get an adequate number of how many students we have. Since the pandemic, the state of California has lost 400,000 students. A disproportion of those have been Black males and Latino males. So some schools have been reluctant to report because they would not only would owe money to the federal government, they might owe money to the state of California because they might inaccurately report how many students they have. This is an ongoing problem, but right now things are beginning to look up. We have an event when we come back on the showing this movie called Lorax on the I think it's the 20. It's in April when we come back from spring break. It's going to be on the quad. And I heard that most of the spaces have been taken up. And also they're doing an event on May the 15th, I believe, or sometime in May for mental health. It's going to be in HS 165. So we are beginning to have more events on campus. So once again, have a great spring break.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
Sorry about that. And thank you, Benny. Thank you, Dr. L. And thank you for everyone present. There are no more items in our agenda, so we will now proceed on to adjournment. So I will, is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Everybody's muted, I think.
Oh, sorry about that.
Probably raised their hand, so I just gonna mute.
Yes. Anastasia made a motion to end this meeting. And I believe Kat tried to make a second. Katherine Nilsen seconds this motion. Thank you for that. So this meeting has been ended at 12:22 p.m. on April the 7th, 2022. Thank you everyone for being present, and if there are any more
No.